Would anyone like to sing Mangalacharan? Hare Krishna. Okay, then I
Hare
will
Krishna
sing.
Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Sorry Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. No problem. Happy to see you, Prabhuji, after a long time.
Thanks Mataji. Thanks.
Yeah, your kids are also there along, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Danvi is there with me, Mataji. She
Very
can read
nice.
whenever it is
Oh,
you
lovely.
instruct her to read, Mataji.
Wonderful, wonderful. Happy to know. Thank you so much, Tanvi Mataji, for joining in. All right, so we'll start with the Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिने इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जयो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा बाबू जी हरे कृष्णा All right, wonderful. So, okay, let us continue from where we left. A quick recap of the last class. So, what's the name of the chapter we are currently in?
In every town and village.
Every town and village. Hari bol. So nice, Ekambar Prabhuji. Chapter 4, right? Okay.
Right.
So, what did we see in the last class? Probably I'll ask you all some. Okay, just summarize it to me in just one line each one of you quickly. Whatever
Mataji
you.
in London, he had a conversation with George Harrison.
Okay.
And George Harrison, Prabhupada explained George Harrison, George Harrison as a devotee,
Hmm.
how he is a good devotee like that. And
Very nice.
then during that explanation time, he got a call from Mr. Goyal
Yeah.
regarding the keeping of this two devotee, Radha Rani and Krishna. And why
Very.
is not installed after meeting Mr. Goyal? Mr. Goyal explained why I am not installed this two devotee. And
Yes.
Prabhupada got the explanation from Goyal. And during the transportation, Radharani got one finger damaged. So that it is not,
Yeah.
it can't be installed like that.
Very nice.
And then
Very nice. Thank you.
Prabhupada agreed to shift the two deities to shift to the storefront. And
Very nice.
with
So,
the
what
help
was the
of
height of the
3 feet, 3 feet,
3 feet?
3 feet,
Haribol.
3 feet.
Okay.
And he shifted the two deities with the help of three people, Shyama Sundara, and the other two people to the store,
Ramala Krishna.
location.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Totem bus.
Wonderful, wonderful. Hari bol to you, Mutmanik Prabhuji. Thank you for summarizing it so beautifully. Right, Radha Krishna statue. How did okay, now Muthumanikam Prabhuji has already said. I would want someone else to answer. How did he describe Radha Rani in Krishna? When Srila Prabhupada had a look at the statue, what was his reaction? When he looked at the deities, what was his reaction?
Prabhuji was delighted.
Sorry, Prabhuji?
Prabhuji was delighted to see the deity.
Delighted, yeah.
Even though
How did he describe the deities?
The deities are white marble color, and
Yeah.
the Krishna are having slight bluish color painted.
Haribol, so beautiful.
And sometimes Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes,
And
Mataji.
Prabhupada said sometimes Radharani looks more beautiful and Krishna with the bluish tinge looking at her. So, and initially when they got in, while they were bringing it to the van, Prabhupada was saying, Krishna is so kind that he came like this because he wanted deities for the temple, no? So he was saying, and
He was adoring the deities, right? So beautiful. Very nice.
when it was time for him to go to US, he just did a complete full Dandavat Pranam, like obeisances, fully flat obeisances, and it took a while for him to just offer his obeisances. And Yamuna Mataji was there. So it is very touching. And Yamuna Mataji was saying, Prabhupada instructed her that if you just follow what I said and do the instructions for the deity worship exactly as Prabhupada said, then they will all go back to Godhead and they should preach. So,
Haribol. Wonderful. Very nice. So, when he was trying to install the deity, what was planned? They were planning for one big ceremony kind of thing, right?
temple reopening, Mataji, inauguration of the temple.
Yeah. So, what was the plan? What were they actually trying to do with the deities?
To give, for the Prabhupada was planning to give bath to the deities, and then Yamuna Mataji will dress them up, and then the unveiling of the deities to the general public who all were invited. It was a huge crowd with reporters, and Apple Record have arranged for a florist to decorate the deities.
Florence, yeah, Haribol, right? So it was arranged as such a big event. And but what happened?
And Shamasundara, who was in charge of arranging the canopy of the altar, actually he was like saying about the four pillars that was like elephant leg pillars.
Like, yeah, right.
But unfortunately, just the day before he fell unconscious and he collapsed, so he couldn't properly fix the pillars. So on that
Yeah.
day, Prabhupada gave bath to the deities, and it was just kept in the altar. The two front pillars shaked, and the whole canopy was coming down. And
Yeah. And
Prabhupada
the day
just
fall, right? So that's when, yeah.
And he just rushed into, and devotees were like amazed to see Prabhupada's immediate reaction to that. And he protected the devotees and asked them to take away the canopy. And, and the people who were just in front of the curtain, they were having no idea of what was happening inside. And
Yeah.
they were carrying the canopy and the pillar. They thought this is also part of that ceremony. And they started they started filming it. And in the meanwhile, Prabhupada and all the other devotees, including Yamuna Rani, everybody, Mataji, they decorated and opened the curtain for the unveiling. And Prabhupada was saying this was the moment, like many years of planning went behind this from Bhakti Vinoda Maharaj Swami and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj Swami, that they wanted DT in London, and this is the day. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Dandavad Pranam, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dhanvat pranams, Mataji. Thank you so much for summarizing it so beautifully.
Hare
So,
Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. You wanted to say something, Prabhuji?
Yeah. On July 20,
Yeah,
1970,
Prabhuji.
Swamiji formed a governing body commission, that is GBC, and listed the names of 12 devotees who would form the GBC.
Your voice is somehow breaking for me. Is it just with me, or is everyone able to hear, Prabhuji?
It was clear, Mataji.
Okay, I think my network
On,
is. Sorry,
on,
Prabhuji.
on
Can
July
you?
28, 1970, Swamiji formed governing body commission, that is GBC, and
Yeah.
listed the list of
So,
listed the names of 12 devotees who would form the GBC.
yeah, so Prabhuji, before we move to the governing body, let's go in the sequence. So we discussed about the altar, the installation. So we started with meeting Mr. Doyle, then altar. So we'll just go in the same sequence. So when Srila Prabhupada turned 73 years, how many temples did he have?
21 temples, Mataji.
21, right? 21. So he came at the age of 70. Within 3 years, he had opened 21 temples, right? And by the age of 75, when he turned 75, how many temples were there?
34, Mataji.
34, yeah. So that is when he said, okay, 5 years now, 34 temples. So that is when. And what was the desire of Srila Prabhupada? How many temples did he want?
108.
108, Haribol, very nice. Right, so he wanted 108 temples. And within 5 years, he was able to build 34 temples within the West, right? So wonderful. Now, so when did this governing body thing happen? During this time, right? Once he turned 75 and there were 34 temples at place, that is when he decided to form a governing body. And that is when he appealed and he wrote this letter. Very nice.
Prabhupada said, like, um, he can't alone manage the temple
Yeah,
uh, functions, so and he need to focus more on publishing the literature work around the world, and all schools and universities and everybody must read his books. So he would.
Haribol. Nice, wonderful. He said that. And yes, Ekambar Prabhuji, you can continue now, whatever points you wanted to say, because we've reached that phase. Yeah.
The
So, any-
Sankirtana party was getting a good response. Shaven-headed Westerners wearing shikas, Vaishnava tiraka and saffron robe, playing kartaras and mridanga, chanting Hare Krishna with heart and soul, be the supreme personality of God. For the Bengalis, this was the great appeal his disciples would have. Everyone would want to see them. He therefore affectionately called them his dancing white elephants.
Prabhuji, you're reading which page, Prabhuji?
Page 179.
Oh, you moved to. No, Prabhuji, we didn't start. Okay. You're reading. Okay. I was wondering. Okay. We are still in the summarizing part, Prabhuji. We read to start the reading. We were just
Okay.
discussing about the last class. Okay. Fine. So, let's begin. Let me share my screen. Just hold on. Okay. So, we concluded with page 177, I think. So here we concluded. So if you look at this, yeah, this is so beautiful. He says, no, I, the undersigned A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, disciple of Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa, 108 Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada came in the United States in 1965 on September 18th for the purpose of starting Krishna conscious movement. For 1 year, I had no shelter. I was traveling in many parts of this country. Then in 1966 July, I incorporated this society under the name and style the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, briefly ISKCON. Gradually, the society increased, and one after another branches were opened. Now we've got 34 branches enlisted here with. As we've increased our volume of activities, now I think a governing body commission, referred to as the GBC, should be established. I'm getting 75 years old. Therefore, at any time I may be out of the scene. Therefore, I think it is necessary to give instruction to my disciples how they shall manage the whole institution. They're already managing individual centers represented by one president, one secretary, and one treasurer. And in my opinion, they're doing nice. But we want still more improvement in the standard of the temple management, propaganda for Krishna consciousness, distribution of books and literatures, opening of new centers, and educating devotees to the right standard. And then he says he listed the names of the 12 person who will form the governing body committee, and he says these personalities are now considered my direct representatives. While I am living, they will act as my zonal secretaries, and after my demise, they will be known as executors. Next day, Prabhupada drafted another significant statement naming several of his disciples as trustees of the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. And he says Bhaktivedanta Book Trust account will be used to publish my books and literature and to establish temples throughout the world. Specifically, 3 temples are to be established, one each in Mayapur, Vrindavan, and Jagannath Puri. And he also says, although Srila Prabhupada intended the GBC to oversee the activities of ISKCON, he was not creating a monolithic structure. Right, so we concluded here. So we should start from the next one. So he wrote to Karandara, who's one of the GBC member. So we're going to read from there. Okay. Let me open that. Okay. Let me share my screen again. Right, so we should start from here. So, Ekambar, whoever would like to read, please raise your hands. Yeah, Ekambar Prabhuji can start since you've already begun. You can start from page 178, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Each temple. Yeah. Can you see, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. You can start from here, Prabhuji, each temple. Prabhuji, can you hear us? Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Then should I read?
Yeah, you can read Mutmanika Prabhuji. Yeah.
Each temple must remain independent and self-sufficient. That was my plan from the very beginning. When there is a bureaucracy, the whole thing will be spoiled. There must be always be individuals striving and work and responsibly. Competitive spirit, not that one shall dominate and distribute benefits to the others, and they do nothing but beg from you, and you provide. No, never mind. There may be a botheration to register each center, take tax certificate, and become separate corporation in each state that will train men how to do these things, and they shall develop reliability and responsibility. In Calcutta, August 1970, for the first time in almost 3 years, Prabhupada returned to India to Calcutta, his hometown, although it was late and the journey had been long. Prabhupada felt happy as he descended the stairway from the airplane. Prabhupada felt happy as he descended the stairway from the airplane. Achyutananda and Jayapadaga, his only American disciples in India, were standing on the airfield, and as they saw him approaching in his saffron silk robes, they bowed down. Prabhupada smiled and embraced them. Calcutta was in political turmoil. A group of communist terrorists and Naxalites had been rioting, murdering prominent businessmen and threatening the lives of many others. Many wealthy Marwari industrialists were leaving the city for Delhi and Bombay. Aside from the terrorists, Bengali college students were growing unruly, but the older people of West Bengal, comprising most of the Prabhupada's visitors, were alarmed by the violence and unrest. The only shelter Prabhupada told them, "We Krishna, was Krishna. People are very much perturbed condition. All of them are expecting me to do something for ameliorating the situation. But I am simply advising them to chant Hare Krishna because this transcendental sound is the only panacea for all material
Hare Krishna
diseases."
ji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much. Thank you so much. Dhanvat pranams. Yeah. So, Praveen Prabhuji, yeah, I see your hand raised. Yes, Prabhuji. Dhanvi
Great,
Mataji will be.
Mataji. Then we will. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dhanvi Mataji. Pranams. Thank you for joining. Happy to hear your
Welcome
voice.
Mataji.
Long time, Mataji. Very nice.
Should I start reading?
Yeah, you can start from here, Mataji. Prabhupada saw no need to fabricate a
Okay.
special. Yeah.
Okay, Mataji. Prabhupada saw no need to fabricate a special program for the social problems of Calcutta. Chanting Hare Krishna was the only panacea for all material diseases. The question was how best to use his American disciples to give his panacea to the Indians. Prabhupada had come with a party of 10 devotees, and he asked his leaders in the west for 20 more within the month. He had ordered $60,000 worth of his sannyasis were going daily. $60,000 worth of books and magazines from Dai Nippon Printing Company in Japan, and his sannyasis were going daily into the streets to perform kirtana. The Sankirtana party was getting a food response. Was getting a food response. Seven-headed kartalas and mridangas chanting Hare Krishna with heart with
Mataji,
heart and
Mataji, you missed a line, Mataji. Shaven-headed
which one?
Westerners wearing shikas. So it's this shaven-headed
Yeah,
Westerners. Yeah.
Seven-headed Westerners wearing shikas, Vaishnava tilaka, and saffron robes, playing kartalas and mridangas, chanting Hare Krishna with heart and soul, quoting Sanskrit verses from Bhagavad Gita, affirming Lord Krishna to sensational, and hundreds would gather to watch. Prabhupada knew the great appeal his disciples would have. Prabhupada knew the great appeal his disciples would have. Everyone would want to see them. He therefore affectionately called them his dancing with white elephants. These same devotees who had grown to love chanting Hare Krishna in the streets of San Francisco, Los Angeles, and New York were now going into an exhausting heat never encountered in America and chanting on Dalhousie Square for several hours daily. Crowds would press in closely, sometimes teasing, laughing, or scoffing, but more often looking on with deep amazement. Prabhupada's idea that when India saw young Western people adopting the principles of Krishna consciousness, the faith of the Indians in their own culture would increase. Prabhupada explained to his disciples how formally during the time of Maharaja Yudhishthira, India had been a Krishna conscious state. For the last 1,000 years, however, India had been under foreign subjugation, first under first under the Mughals and then under the British. As a result, the intelligentsia and to a lesser degree the masses of India had lost respect for their own culture. They were only pursuing the materialistic goals of the West, and they saw this as more productive and more practical than religion, which was only sentimental. Westerners living as renounced Vaishnavas could, as Prabhupada was well aware, turn the heads and hearts of Indians and help them regain faith in their own lost culture. It was not a material tactic, however, but a spiritual strength. Hare Krishna Mataji, Danda Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, very nice. Hari Bol. So beautiful. Ekambar Prabhuji, are you back? Your network is fine? Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Not able to hear you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Okay, I think he's still facing some issue. Lakshmi Mataji, would you like to read next? Hare Krishna. Lakshmi Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, you can start from here, Mataji.
The chanting.
Prabhupada stressed from here. First line, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhupada stressed that the devotees must be pure in their actions. This purity would be their force. The chanting in Dalhousie Square and along Chaurangi had gone on for about 10 days when Prabhupada decided to stop it. The street kirtana, although an excellent method of preaching, was not the most effective method for India, he said. There were many professional kirtana groups in Bengal, and Prabhupada didn't want his disciples to be seen like that as professional performers or beggars. He wanted them to preach in a way that would bring them closer to the more intelligent, respectable Indians, and he unfolded his new plans. He called it life membership. His disciples would invite Indians interested in supporting and associating with ISKCON to become members. A membership fee of 1,111 rupees would entitle the members to many benefits such as copies of Srila Prabhupada's books and free accommodation in ISKCON centers around the world. Speaking one evening in a private home before a group of wealthy businessmen, Prabhupada initiated his life membership program. After lecturing, he invited his audience to become ISKCON life members, and several Calcutta merchants immediately signed. B.L. Jaju, I was really overwhelmed by the simplicity of Prabhupada's nature. He told me how he had been carrying on his regular business when his guru had told him that 400 years back Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had said that Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna would be chanted all throughout the world. He said that was a job given to him by his spiritual master and that he would have to go to America and do it. I found no snobbery in him. He was very simple, and he was telling, as if my brother was telling me, simply how we went to the USA, how he started, and how gradually he planned to have this Krishna consciousness throughout the world. Seeing his disciples who had changed their lives, I began to think, why not I? In my humble way, I should do something without worrying what other people are doing. I found that imperceptibly he was affecting my life. My wife and even my son were really surprised when they found that these white people whom we thought could never turn to Krishna consciousness had changed so much. So we thought we also must try to follow better the teaching of Gita. Thank you,
Very nice,
Mataji.
Mataji. Very good. Dandavat pranams. Thank you so much. Okay, so Praveen Prabhuji, would you like to read next? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. From here, Prabhuji.
Starting.
Prabhu,
Yes,
continue.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhupada continued holding programs in people's homes and talking with guests in his room. One day, Mr. Dandaria visited Prabhupada and mentioned Bombay's upcoming Sadhu Samaj, a gathering of the most important sadhus in India. It was to be held at Chowpatty Beach and promised to be a big affair. Mr. Dandaria requested Prabhupada to attend, and Prabhupada accepted. Bombay, October 1970. The sand of Chowpatty Beach was fine and clean. The audience numbered in the thousands. Sadhus sat on stage, Prabhupada and his followers among them. It was twilight. The sky above the Arabian Sea was cloudy, and a pleasant breeze was stirring. There had already been two lectures expounding the Mayavada philosophy, and now it was time for Prabhupada to speak. The last scheduled speaker of the evening. The audience was eager to hear him. His accomplishments in the West had caused great curiosity, especially now that he had arrived in Bombay and his devotees were chanting daily in public. Prabhupada's disciples, bored and exasperated by the preceding by the preceding 2 hours of Hindi oratory, could scarcely wait any longer for Prabhupada to speak. But Prabhupada, instead of addressing the audience, turned to his disciples and said, "Begin chanting." As soon as the devotees began the kirtana, little Saraswati, Shyamasundara's daughter, stood and began to dance. Following her, the other devotees rose and began to dance. As the kirtana came alive with mridangas and kartalas, the dancing and chanting of the devotees seemed to disturb some of the sadhus on stage, who rose one by one and left. The audience, however, responded enthusiastically, many of them standing and clapping. After 5 minutes of ecstatic kirtana, the devotees spontaneously jumped down onto the sand and headed toward the audience. Thousands in the crowd rose to their feet and began to move along with the devotees in a dance, backward and forward.
Hari
Indians
Bol.
began. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams. Thank you so much.
Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice. So, Krishnadas Prabhuji, would you like to read? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. You can continue from here, Prabhuji.
Indians began crying in uncontrolled happiness, overwhelmed by the genuine Krishna bhakti of these foreigners. Never before had such a thing happened. Policemen and press reporters joined in the chanting and dancing. Chowpatty Beach was in an uproar of Hare Krishna Kirtana, as Prabhupada and his disciples showed the potency of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtana movement. After about 10 minutes, the Kirtana ended. Though a tumultuous unrest pervaded the talkative crowd, 15 minutes elapsed before all the people returned to their seats and the program could continue. The devotee had left the stage and taken their seats on the ground level, leaving Prabhupada alone on stage. Prabhupada's voice echoed over the public address system. Ladies and gentlemen, I was requested to speak in Hindi, but I am not very much accustomed to speak in Hindi. Therefore, the authorities in this meeting have allowed me to speak in English. I hope you will follow me because it is Bombay and most people will be speaking English. The problem is, as this evening's speaker, His Holiness Swami Akhandanandaji spoke to you, how we can make everyone accustomed to take up good habits, sadachara. I think in this age, Kali Yuga, there are many faults. Prabhupada went on to explain the power of Lord Chaitanya's movement to clean the hearts of everyone. He referred to the two great ropes whom Lord Chaitanya had delivered, Jagai and Madai. Now we are serving wholesale Jagai and Madais. Therefore, if we want peace, if we want to be situated on this Sadachara platform, then we must spread the Harinama Mahamantra all over the world. And it has been practically proven. The American and European Vaishnavas who have come here, who have chanted Hare Krishna mantra, they are they were cow flesh eaters, they were drunkards, they were illicit sex mongers, they were all kinds of gamblers. But having taken to this Krishna consciousness movement, they have given up everything abominable. Sadachara has come automatically. They do not even take tea. They do not even take coffee. They do not even smoke, which I think is very rare to be found in India. But they have given up. Why? Because they have taken to this Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada ended his talk after about 5 minutes. I do not feel that have to say very much. You can see what is the result of Krishna consciousness. It is not something artificial, it is there in everyone. I have not done anything magical, but this Krishna consciousness is present in all of us. We simply have to revive it.
Haribol.
Hari
Thank you
Bol.
so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. All right. So, Ekambar Prabhuji, is your network issue resolved, Prabhuji? Are you able to read?
Yes, yes.
Okay, very nice, Prabhuji. You can continue from this line, Prabhuji. The audience responded. We'll conclude with this page.
Which line?
The audience responded. What I'm showing in the screen, no, Prabhuji, from here.
Page number?
Page number 183, Prabhuji.
From where?
Second para. The audience responded with cheers and a great round of applause.
The audience responded with cheers and a great round of applause. Prabhupada with great force and eloquence than the long-awaited Mayavadis had shown the essence of spiritual life, ecstatic chanting of the holy names, and he offered the living testimony of his American disciples. For the next week, Prabhupada and his disciples were the talk of Bombay, and they began receiving many invitations to speak and perform kirtana throughout the city. The Times Weekly's coverage of Sadhu Samaj spotlighted the memorable presence of Sri Prabhupada and his disciples. A group of 20 Americans members of the Hare Krishna delegation took over the dais. The air was filled with the beating of mridangas, the clash of cymbals, and the music of the Mahamantra, swaying from the side to side. The tufts of the swearing, tossing breeze, the chanted Hare Krishna. One graying reporter whom I had always regarded as a particularly unsentimental person said to me in an emotion-choked voice, "Do you realize what is happening? Very soon Hinduism is going to sweep the West. The Hare Krishna movement will, will compensate for all our loss at the hands of perpetrators through the centuries." Surat, December 17, 1970. It was like a dream come true. Thousands lined the street for many blocks with the devotees playing kartaras and mridangas and chanting Hare Krishna made their way around. Spectators stood rooftops clustered in windows and doorways where others joined in the procession. The police stopped traffic at the intersections, following only the Kirtanam procession to pass. The earthen road freshly swept and sprinkled with water had been decorated with rice flower designs and auspicious Vedic symbols. Green, freshly cut banana trees adorn either side of the way. Overhead, women carries strung bunting across the narrow road, farm and formed brightly colored canopy over the Kirtana party.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. So we will conclude with this today. We will continue the rest of it tomorrow. All right. Hari Bol to all of you. Dandavat pranams. Thank you for actively participating. We will continue tomorrow. Tomorrow, Ekambar Prabhuji is going. You're going to sing a kirtan for us, right, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
All right. Very nice. So Hari Bol. See you all tomorrow. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavindi ki jai. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.